What is up, guys? Welcome. We're doing a trade recap on the day. All of the model entries you could have taken with the Macre model, baby, including some squid, but not really. So overall, okay, off the open, I was in longs the entire time based off pre-market, but we had a beautiful long setup in the morning, and then my stream went fucking particular ethnicity. Not gonna name them. We all know who I'm talking about. They, took out my internet, so the stream went down. But typically, I'm live every single day, 9:20, 9:30. I go live. I stream all my trades for free. You can join. You can watch in every single day, 9:30 to 12, 2 to 4 every single day. High energy. You already know the drill. Off the wake up, off the boot up. That being said, there were 3 trades that I took today. Open longs, which I'm not going to really focus on too much because if you're in stream, you heard my explanation for that. I did not get out on any of the pointers. You have to understand, I'm using 2 strategies at once. Okay, I'm using the one that I publicly talk about, all the stuff that I put online for you for free that you can make tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars on. On the side of that, I'm about to rip ass. Never mind, I suck that shit back up. You know that method where you pull it back into your shit? Got that on lock. So that being said, I'm equipped with both strategies at the same time. I'm using both at the same time. That does not mean what you do is going to be any different. You're going to take the same exact trades. I'm just not going to lose money in any of the chop. I'm basically invincible now. So regardless, there was a nice little long. I was in these longs regardless of the chop, because think about it, right? A chop is still going to have a draw. It's still going to have a tilt because the market's never going to be effectively balanced. It just doesn't exist. Even in this case here, it's not going to be effectively balanced. We're going to be trading for some type of draw on liquidity. Sorry, forgot to turn that off before I went. Okay, anyways, that's embarrassing as fuck. That shit threw me off. Yeah, so there's always going to be a draw, right? There's always going to be a draw on liquidity, a tilt in the market, because it's not perfect. Even if you're chopping, you're going to be drawn somewhere, somehow. And in this case, we're just essentially loading orders on unfilled FFEGs that we ended up creating off of a new draw. You have to understand that's how all these moves are going to basically get created. So we never had anything up here. That we were necessarily reacting to besides a previously tapped FFEG, right? You see this dump. This dump came after we initiated. Remember how FFEGs work, right? This dump came after we initiated a new set of FFEGs in here, right? We had this whole new. Sorry, I always have the IFFEGs on. I'm trying to get it all on one screen, so my bad. So this dump happened after we created a new set of untapped FFEGs. It's just my model, right? When you have first fair value gaps form in price, then you'll have pointers, and that's how you get deliveries. We had something up here on one of the equities, whether it was ES or NQ, probably an IFFEG, just like if you see we have an order block here, and then just generally I see a 5 in IFFEG. You can kind of see what we're looking at. We were inside of a previously done been fucking tap the hoe type. You see there's the 5 IFFEG, there's the tap. So it's already been used. Usually that's where you'll see a lot of consolidation occur in between used FFEGs. I know this is like a novel concept. Think about it, right? Chop. I know, novel concept. It's in all my videos. But regardless of this, I was taking it long up until that, not focusing on that. The short was actually really good. I don't remember which time frame the pointer was on. I want to say it was a 3-minute. Am I wrong about that? Shit. I forget which one it was. Which equity was it even on? Check ES. I swear I remember seeing. There she is. 3-minute right there. There's your 3-minute off the newly created IFFEG. 3-minute pointer breaking structure. Validation. Really, it's not really breaking structure. It's called a breaking structure because that's what you guys are used to, but it's really just a 3-minute pointer validation of the newly created inefficiencies. We'll go back to NQ real quick. Load her in. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We get an SMT pointer. The SMT pointer is the fact that one equity created a pointer, the other one did not. And so what's going to happen is one equity is going to drag the other equity with it, even though there isn't a pointer. It's going to look like it's moving to the downside because it is, but not off of its own delivery. It's going to be moving in accordance to the other equity delivering off of its own FFEG, etc. And then since we're taking a trade down to EQ range, what I always like to do, and again, you can turn EQ range on with the indicator. I'll show you real quick. If you don't have the indicator, link in the description. Use code TROOPS, save money. It's all of my own custom shit. If you're taking a trade back as a retracement to equilibrium or fair value, what I always like to do is I always like to trim at the first sign of high-res liquidity on our way to fair value. The reason why I do this is because you can lock in profit assuming the consolidation. A lot of people trade with the assumption that you're going to make money. I trade with the assumption that I'm going to get burnt. I trade with the assumption that I'm going to get consolidated on. And so what do I want to do? I want to build up a buffer in case of the worst case scenario, right? We have 2 trims in my trading model. The first trim, there's nothing else in this. I see this all the time. We're like 5% in a move, and fucking Chatter's like,
dude, I only have 2 contracts left.
yeah, you're fucking cooked. You're fucking cooked in every way. Okay? We gotta hurry this shit up. I gotta trade Asia. No, sir. No, sir. We have 2 trims, little boy. The first trim is at the first untapped FFEG, right? Because what is one of our rules in pointers? Every pointer guarantees what? The move to the next FFEG. Why? Rule number 1 of pointers. Again, videos. Every implied move has a pointer, has an FFEG. So if you're going to get an inversion, you're going to go down to the FFEG and then point validate off of it. There's no other way to do it. So we know at minimum it's at least going to go there. So my first trim, assuming that we haven't already made the move there, is going to be at the first FFEG in line to deliver off. It could be an IFFEG, it could be an FFEG. The other equity might be doing it too. Now, if we've already made the move, then I don't do the trim because it's already done the guaranteed thing. That's one of our weaker type of pointers. Again, videos. But what you'll see here is this is the first high-res liquidity we have in the range. And this is really the only type of exit I'll take in a trade that doesn't have anything to do with an actual inversion. The reason why I do it is I assume PO3. If you assume PO3, then you're going to lose money. So the additive trim, I always add contracts for the first fair value gap trim off the pointer. And then my second trim is going to be the first high-res liquidity presented in EQ range. If I don't have that, I don't do it. In this case, we don't have a strong target either because there's no SMT, there's no strong target. I'm just targeting the inverse pointer. It's that simple. I target the inverse pointer. So this is a protective thing. Everything else, all my contracts, they stay running in this because I want my contracts to run for you. Here's the problem I always see. You let the fucking, there we go. You always see people take trades in consolidation, get chopped up, take the maximum loss. And then the moment they're making money with my model, like, gone. Before it even has time to print. You need to let these contracts deliver for you or you will not survive the chop in the future. So my first trim goes there and then the rest just fucking ride. Now there will be an exit for you guys way sooner. And there's actually multiple entries, multiple efficient validations across multiple time frames across both equities in here that you can take. Now, technically we're taking a retracement style trade back to fair value. So we want to use both equities, both cross correlation between EQ range to see which EQ range is going to be accurate. If we get a retrace back to EQ range, we might be able to take that, assuming that the low that we're taking is not associated with any amount of chop or PO3, etc. Okay? What you'll see is we get a fucking beautiful move. By the way, there was just multiple ways that you could keep taking continuations on this. This would be your exit. This would be your harsh exit, okay? Now, this is for you guys. This is for you guys. This would be your harsh exit. This is going to be your exit. Notice that this FFEG has already been used to sponsor a move. So typically it's going to be a little bit lower quality for deliveries in a lot of cases. Now it's a 5-minute swept pointer. So what you want to do to make sure you are going to close is check the lower time frame data on the 5-minute swept pointer. You'll see there is no data on the swept pointer. You can do one of 2 things. You do one of 1 things, which is close the trade if you don't know squid. Number 1. Number 2, test the low time frame, right? You can enter longs and test low time frame, or you just wait for another pointer. If you don't like taking swap pointers, don't take them. That's a thing. You will have implied moves with or without them. In the current leg, we've had 1 bullish pointer. You've got to keep in mind this shit. Remember, you can also turn on ECR right here, and it'll tell you how many pointers you've had within any amount of range of efficient price action across both equities. Once they start growing, obviously, I think we were on a different time frame there. I'm not sure we went on. Yeah, so you can see it lit up by 1. So on a lower time frame, there's a pointer in there. That's just how it's used. It'll tell you which and when there will be pointers, as well as old pointers that kind of form in there. You'll see it'll show you any one of these boxes. You can see they happen a lot during the chop, because what is chop? Efficient delivery of price. Yo, I'm low-key flying off the goober. Cannot lie to you, brethren. Cannot lie to the man down. We got to be up all night, all week, baby. We got money to make. It's basically money to make. So anyways, you would have been out on the pointer validation of the FFEG at the lows there, okay? Regardless of this, I did not exit my trade. I was actually still in the shorts. Lower size. When I see pointers that form against me, I haven't had a squid change. It's kind of cool. What I'll do is I'll find the IFFEG. If my squid has not changed, I will find the IFFEG and untap the IFFEG against the direction of the current movement in price. And I'll fill a limit order basically to re-add contracts, but I exit on the pointer because I know it's going to go there, and I re-add because the pointers are still going to deliver, right? They're just not going to deliver to their full effectivity. So you'll have, let's say squid is bearish, right? You'll have like this, whatever move, and then you'll get like a pointer. Okay, I'm exiting on the pointer, right? But I'm still bearish on squid or whatever the fuck I had before in this one example. But let's say we had like an IFFEG here. I'll exit on the pointer to collect profit, re-enter my contracts at a cheaper price, and my average price barely fucking moves. That way I can hold my original bias down. Now, sometimes you can have an internal squid change when you're inside of a range, and obviously that's going to be different. Again, this is not important for you guys. For you, you would be out of this trade. And then we end up getting PO3 in here. Again, you can use the indicator if you need to learn about what that is. We end up getting PO3, and you can kind of see this little wick here. This is where I was filling more contracts to the downside. Basically, Fugazi pointers going on in here. So PO3, now we're going to be trading for a new draw on liquidity. Why is it PO3? Bullish pointer, bearish pointer, bullish pointer. Excuse me. Bullish pointer, bearish pointer, bullish pointer. Bullish pointer, bearish pointer, bullish pointer, right? And obviously you can even go on the other equity, you'll see the same thing. And we even get more than PO3 too, so it gets very obvious what's going on in here. Now we do get a new draw on liquidity here, right? This draw on liquidity right here is associated with a low, not associated with PO3. Do you see PO3? I do not, so this is perfectly fine to take manipulations off of. We can take manipulations back up to fair value as a retrace to fair value, assuming we get some type of entry. I believe this is the entry to the upside, I believe. Am I wrong? Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So I had a bullish squid. So this is the thing that, could be very unfortunate. Right in here, I had bullish squid. This is my first fill. You see this bearish pointer? I did nothing on that. A lot of you guys would do something on that. But look, take a look at this. What is it reacting off of? Nothing. Nothing. Not to mention, so it's a pointer. It's just a structural pointer. It doesn't mean anything. You get a pointer right after anyways that you can add more contracts on. So then my squid changed underneath my feet here. We had internal squid, nothing external happened on the inside of the range. So I got out. I was now bullish on the day from basically this whole move here. Okay, within this move here, I clarified, or I basically said, okay, yes, now I'm looking for longs whenever I can get presented a pointer, and then got filled on a pointer. There's your 4-minute pointer. There's another pointer here, right here in the 5-minute. Didn't do anything on this pointer here. It's also not even reacting to anything anyways, so fuck are you doing, little boy? Obviously, delivery. Now, interestingly enough, untapped FFEG, we're taking a trade back into EQ range. If you're using my model, what do? Your first trims go at the first FFEG in the direction of price. Didn't have one. Your second trim goes at the first high-res liquidity in EQ range. There you go. Assuming that we start chopping, cookies. You want out of that shit, I promise. Now you'll notice we see some crazy volatility here off of this this FFEG here, and then I end up just refilling more orders at the fucking FFEG low here, right? What did I say? What I like to do is I know that I'm bullish on squid. This whole shit is fake. I'm just gonna wait for price to re-enter untapped FFEG to the current leg, fill more orders on a pointer or just a limit order on that. And we get both. We get a limit order tap on the FFEG, and then we also get a 3-minute pointer break and structure. It's great. It's beautiful. It's lovely. We love this. And then I just held this trade down the entire day. There's nothing fancy to this. I literally just held this trade down the entire fucking day. Okay? Take a look. It's so fucking clean. Okay? New draw, non-PO3 associated draw, entry, no exits. There's no pointer, so I didn't exit and do like what I said before, where you exit on the pointer, fill at the limit. I just limited more here. Limited, not there, but technically right here, excuse me. Limit there, pointers in here, add more contracts, and I just held this bitch down the entire time. I did do a trim right here. I did do an additive trim here, not additive trim, a high-res EQ range trim, because this is the first high-res high in the EQ range leg, assuming the consolidation, just to get a little bit of profit off. And then we saw, I'm going to genocide someone. There we go. And then we saw a nice little delivery to the upside. Basically just green. Green F, you know what I'm saying? Super nice. Super clean. And then I got hungry, made some fucking chicken nuggets. There was nothing in here. Fugazi, literally Fugazi. This is an inefficient break and structure, and you can see he got fucked in the ass. So if you took that shit, I held the trade down, took it, just held the bitch down. And then I went to the gym at like 2:15, wherever that was. Where was 2:15? Right here. There was no reason for my exit. In fact, there was probably a reason to get in again. And I had to go to the gym. I had to go do the legs, unfortunately. But yeah, that was my trades for the day, using my models, using my entries. Very simple shit. Guys, it's super simple. You got to study the rules. You got to know the rules. You got to know your pointers. You got to have your indicator. You got to be You got to have your dick in your hand, son. You got to be, come on, what are we doing? This is super easy stuff. We did just get more and more delivered to the upside. It was fucking beautiful. So you could have kept holding this down, but obviously I did not since I was pushing weight. So there you go, boys. There's your trade recap for the day. Enjoy it. Bye-bye. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the live. Join the live. Go Troop. Indicator. Yeah, that's about it. Deuces. Hello.